Hello everyone, I'm Lowie Verschelden, tracking expert at TAGGRS, and today we will be setting up Taboola via Server GTM. I have several years of tracking experience and I have done over 300 Server GTM implementations. I hope by the end of this video you have a good understanding of how Taboola works with Server GTM. Also, I want to point out that we have a detailed blog post about the setup in case you prefer learning through with written content. So what will be our points of today? We will start with the introduction, which we have completed already, why Taboola Server Side Tracking, and then also the actual setup. So we will start with why Taboola Server Side Tracking. It has several implementations, several advantages, sorry. The main ones are data accuracy to avoid ad blockers, browser restrictions, and cookie limitations. Also privacy compliance. You can gain control over the data to meet GDPR standards and better performance. You will reduce client-side load for faster website performance. Also important to note here is that there is no event deduplication with Taboola. So we will be sending the events only from the server. So to start with the setup, we will first make a TAGGRS account. We have already done this to speed up the process. You will have to go through the steps, and at one point they will ask you to fill in the website URL and also to choose your subdomain. You can just choose something as SST, Server Side Tracking, and then at a certain point they will ask you for container configuration. And container configuration will be when you go to your GTM account. Let's say you create a new container. You give it a name, you choose for server, and then you choose for manually provision tagging server, and this will be your container configuration. You will copy this code and paste it over here. That's it. Then some DNS records will show up, and you'll have to add these DNS records to your domain. We have already done this because it can take up to 24 hours. So we have already set up our server GTM. The next thing you'll have to do is go to admin, container settings, and add your server container URL, which can be found here. It's the one we chose. So this you'll have to paste right here. So that's how easy it is to set up a server GTM container with TAGGRS. It's really easy. The next thing we will do is check our web GTM, what we already have. So this is our server GTM and this is our web GTM. What do we see in our web GTM? We already have a Google tag, which sends data to our GA4 property and sends a PageView as well, triggers on initialization. And we have a GA4 purchase event, which sends e-commerce data to our GA4 property. Next thing we will do is we will add a server container URL. And this will be the same one as we have included here. Voila. We save it, and from now on, all events, all GA4 events will be sent to our server GTM. We will check this in a second. Save it. We'll go in our preview mode over Server GTM and preview mode over Web GTM. You can see a page view has entered the website. When we do a purchase, we can see that also the purchase event enters our Server GTM. This works as expected. This works well. This is what we want. So we can continue from here. Now we will set up Taboola Server GTM page view event. So we go to our Server GTM. We choose a tag, go to the template gallery. We go for Taboola. Taboola page view. They will ask you for a URL parameter name for obtaining Taboola click ID. You will have to go to your Taboola ad account, go to campaigns, and you will have to add the click ID to your campaigns. So we have a test campaign here. You can edit your current campaign, or if you make a new one, you go completely to the bottom. And what you will have to add is, so it will be like this standard, and you'll have to add the click ID. You can do it like this, Taboola click ID equals click ID. So this is very important, otherwise no conversions will be measured. Can save it. I can't because it's the same as before. And this will make sure there's a click ID in your URL. When someone clicks on that, we will capture this click ID and save it in a cookie. So Taboola click ID. You can name it whatever you want, but I think this is the most easy and clear way how to call it. And expiration time. You want to save it as long as possible, 90 days. So if you do 90 days times 24 hours times 60 minutes times 60 seconds, you get this, which we will use here. We'll trigger it on all pages and save it. Voila. Next thing we will do is add the Taboola purchase event. So we'll add a new event. Taboola purchase conversion event name purchase order ID. Let's check in our event data if we have a transaction ID or something similar that's usable. Yes, we have event data. Event data transaction ID. Value and currency we need as well. Let's check if we have it. We have the value and we have a currency. Perfect. Value. event data currency. This you can quit or skip it. I mean, we will trigger it on purchase. Voila. Now we will test it if it works or not. So we go to our Taboola account. We go to tracking, account tracking setup, server to server. You will you will choose your campaign and copy a test link. So now we have a test URL. So what we will do now is we go back into preview mode. Our server GTM, also preview mode of web GTM. We will paste our URL we got from Taboola, what we can see at some UTM parameters, and also the Taboola click ID. So this is our Taboola click ID. So I will enter, and if everything went well, Taboola page view has fired and has saved this in a cookie. As you can see, it's the same value as we had here. So this works as expected. And let's do a purchase. Proceed to checkout. Place an order. We can see in our server GTM the purchase event enters. The Taboola purchase tag has fired. And we have an outgoing request to Taboola with, once again, this cookie value that it reads the click ID. Also sends the revenue, currency, and order ID. So this works as expected. Everything went fine. It's a rather easy setup, I would say. After some minutes, you can see in your campaigns if the event has entered, but it can take up to 20 minutes. So we will not wait for that. Let's check what is missing. Okay, one last thing is that we have a template gallery as well, where you can download the right files, JSON files for your GTM setup. For example, this one. You can download the JSON file and import it to your web and server GTM via this method. And this will have all tags already ready for you. The only thing missing for you will be to fill in the missing variables. So for example, you have to fill in your own J4 ID, etc., your own server container URL, etc. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you know better now how to set up Taboola server-side tracking. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next video.